In a world full of Dungeons and Dragons content, Jamazing presents a new way of playing the classic tabletop game. Welcome to DM Roulette, a game where the players rotate who the Dungeon Master will be each month. No need to sift through countless episodes to figure out what's going on here. Each adventure will begin and end in 3 parts. And don't you worry, the beloved cast of characters will stay consistent from adventure to adventure, unless they die. So, without further ado, let's start the next episode of DM Roulette.
Hello, and welcome back to the exciting, or what we hope will be the exciting, conclusion to the Cryptic, or a Curious Curse of the Countess, depending on whether Jamie or I am writing the title. As a short recap, what happened last session, the Countess inducted you into her personal study, over which she had cast a stasis spell, freezing everything at the moment the curse was unleashed and would have killed her. And she encouraged you to look through the study to see if you could find any sort of evidence that might point to who is responsible. She has narrowed the list of suspects to 5. Only 5 people have access to the manor, so they're able to enter without triggering the manor's rather formidable defenses and alerting her. So she's quite certain that only 5 people would have had the opportunity to unleash the curse. So what she needs from you is motive and means. So why they would have done it and how, who possessed the know-how. So going through her study, you came upon the actual device that unleashed the curse, which was a sort of clockwork bird sculpture made out of bone. And Ironjaw decided that it would be wise to deactivate it. It was still chirping and moving, and so he used his thieves' tools to play with the gears and to shut it down. Upon examination, you realize that the bird's eyes were actually soul gems, which are very powerful necromantic items. If you touch one, it will suck your soul into the gemstone and allow someone to presumably do whatever they want with the soul. Apart from the bird, you also notice that the box the bird came in or was delivered in had an illusory sigil on the bottom, which I, after much difficulty, managed to send you a picture of. And that may or may not be a clue for you to follow up on. You went through the bookcases, which were heavily laden with massive volumes, and I sent you an almost endless list of books that were contained. Some of you decided that you would try to purloin a few of the more interesting books. In addition, you found a magical etching depicting 3 men, and on the back of that etching was an inscription which said Uncle Strahd, Uncle Sergei, and Father, Barovia, Castle Ravenloft, and the year. So you have that bit of information as well that may be useful. Rocket could not resist looking inside a chest, which turned out to be full of bees.
Bees!
Bees? Everybody. But quickly dissipated. They were just a magical trap. And it revealed a chute, an emergency chute that led out of the study and down to a hidden jetty or wharf underneath the manor that someone could use to escape into the lake and into Zerovia. Also, someone eventually, I can't remember who, I think it might have been Rocket again, but lifted up to the chandelier and managed to figure out that the correct sequence of candles being depressed would open up a skylight that went all the way up to the top of the manor that could potentially have allowed someone to leave that way or enter that way as well, though they would have needed some kind of power of flight because it was a pretty straight shaft. There were some other random items in the room. There is some magical armor that seemed relatively impressive and matched the armor from the picture. There was a rug that seemed to kind of move on its own that Minos quickly decided to throw down the chute for reasons that remain his to this day.
It's part of their curse, whoever isn't part of that rug.
I see. That was the rug was a person who needed more punishing. So down the chute it went. You played with some figurines, one of which was magical, on the bookshelf, but you were unable to really deduce or activate anything in relation to that. And you disintegrated a very ancient wand, but the Countess didn't seem too concerned with that. Peter was very interested in an orchid that sat against one of the walls, and using Minos's rather extensive plant-related knowledge, realized that it's actually quite a deadly plant that has a telepathic connection to all other plants of the same species. So they sort of form a surveillance network, and you recall that you've seen them spaced very regularly throughout the manor. So you can assume that this is part of the manor's defenses, that these predatory plants are always on the lookout for prey that does not belong. But for whatever reason, this one did not consider you prey and did not attack. You stole some gems out of the fish tank because they're shiny, and why not? And lastly, you discovered a portrait behind the desk, the Countess's desk, which depicted her. But upon opening the portrait, it actually depicted a sort of mural that described a narrative, an old legend that she reluctantly told you about until you sort of convinced her that it had bearing on what was going on, the attempt on her life. And essentially, it told the story of a powerful soul that was fractured into 5 fragments. And these 5 fragments were scattered into 5 individuals across the realms. 3 of the fragments went into a set of triplets, of which the Countess is one, and then her brother and her sister. And you came to the conclusion that anyone using a soul gem as their preferred means of attack is probably interested in extracting that special soul fragment from her. And so you think that this is part of a larger plot to draw together the 5 fragments and piece together this shattered soul, which was of very disturbing import to the Countess, both concern for herself and ostensibly for her siblings. So that is about where we left off. You seem like you have a good grasp of what the motive might be. You have some leads to chase down with some of the guests. So the Countess has invited you all to join her for dinner, and you will have an opportunity to quiz each of the 5 guests, however you see fit, to determine what link, if any, they may have in the failed attempt on her life.
Countess, and Minos will kind of like shiver a little bit, and a couple bees will kind of fly out from his fur. Well, there was a bit of a little trap and some of us got hurt, so I also have some new fine clothes I'd like to use, which would be perfect for this opportunity. Might there be somewhere we could freshen up?
The Countess will look you up and down, and a sort of bemused expression will cross briefly over her face. The room around you will fade, and you will reappear in a lavishly appointed bedroom, complete with 4-poster bed with canopy silks draped on either side. And she'll say, "This is one of our guest suites. Please feel free to freshen yourself as much as you can, and when you're ready, I will take you to the dining room. I will give you your privacy. Don't mind the bed. I thought it would be best to hold on to my husband's body, and this seems like a reasonable place to keep it for now."
Very reasonable. Yeah, you might be a little bit limited on space. I understand.
She bows her head and walks backward until she touches a wall, and she melts into the wall and is gone.
They
have one guest suite in the whole place.
Yeah.
And it has a dead body in it?
You guys, she has a fascination with bodies that I'm uncomfortable with.
First of all, maybe it's the guest suite with the fewest numbers of bodies in it. Okay, did you ever think about that?
True.
I really don't mind walking around this place, but this whole instantly being in the next room is great. So for the next kind of hour, Minos is going to clean himself up, tend to his kind of bite marks. I'd like to spend some hit die. And then as part of a short rest, a druid gets to reclaim one of their spell slots. So I will do that.
Oh,
as
I
well.
I want to do that too, because I can do that too.
If you like, there is a screen that kind of like I don't know what they call it, a Chinese wall, I think I've heard before, but like where
Like
it's
a partition?
A
Yes,
changing
like a-
screen, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Which conceals a bathtub.
Oh, nice.
If you go to it, buckets of water will appear and begin to fill the tub.
Oh, this is convenient.
Minos, what are you adding to that, just out of curiosity? How do I...
So if you go to your character sheet in D&D
Yeah.
Beyond and you click
Yeah.
short rest at the top, it'll tell you how many hit die you get and how many and what you roll per hit die. When you roll one, after you see the result, you can then decide to spend another and then another. So you don't have to spend them
Okay.
all in one go to get you kind of to the point that you want to be at.
Also,
Gotcha.
just for people's knowledge there, Beatrice is just going to be kind of playing around with her puppet and also some spoons. She's going to crack out the spoons while she's kind of waiting. After, of course, she's changed into her fine garb with a little low bust, of course. But she's going to be playing a gentle song, which means everybody can roll an additional 1d6 per.
Oh, nice.
That's
So it looks like our roller might be down right now.
Yeah.
Um,
a
so
lot
I-
of Discord channels going down. So.
yeah,
All rules
so
are replaced with one.
if you guys got your dice for at least the healing part, you guys can roll that
Yeah.
off.
Or just take like the half, the 3 or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, the greater. Anyways, I spent 2. I'm regaining one of my spell slots. Additionally, when Minos is all done bathing and cleaning himself up, he drops his adventuring bag and all of his loot and his armor, and he's just in his fine clothes. But he is going to stash away one healing potion on the inner pocket. But Minos is essentially going to this with just wearing fine clothes and one healing potion.
We should have more formal dinner. Okay.
I got an 8, so I'm just gonna put it in there to show.
Oh my god, that's perfect.
Jesus.
It looks like a 1 to me.
just so there's evidence here.
Oh,
Hey, they're all
sure.
coming through.
I'm gonna take
Oliver?
my 8 because it went through first.
Yeah, look at all those ones.
Yeah, that's what I rolled on D&D Beyond 2. So
I feel like I'm going to go ahead and take the 4.
Just R, Evan. Oh wait, maybe that works
That should
too.
work.
The bot might be slow right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's reconnecting.
That's okay. I will
Yeah.
wait for the both.
Okay.
These are healing spoons. Rock attack, Jack, motherfucker. Oh wait, I can't swear on this, can I?
Yeah, you can.
We've been swearing this whole
Motherfucker.
time.
I'm swearing.
I
right
tried
now.
to have some I tried to hold myself back here.
In
I know.
character as Beatrice, yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so I'm all set to go. Is everybody else good?
Oliver, as good as you look in my uniform, did you want to borrow the formal clothes that I got from CC Citron?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
are you coming to this like raven? What was it, Tim? Like a cloak that I got?
And in an hour you can attune, no?
Oh
Well,
yeah,
that's what
yeah,
I'm
you
offering.
can.
And like, is
yeah.
Oliver feeling more comfortable about this, or would he prefer the formal pantaloons?
I'm of the two. I think I prefer not the pantaloons.
So
So
you
the-
want to
the
attune to the
cloak.
mysterious dead husband's robe?
Yeah, but I mean, why not be creepy? Let's do it.
Okay. Then I'll take my uniform back and my fancy purple pants.
I'm gonna look very uncomfortable while putting on the robe and keep glancing at the dead body on the bed.
So you put on the robe and it kind of rustles as you put it on, as if a bird was fluffing its feathers and preening. And over the hour, it smooths itself out and starts to conform more to your shape. And you realize that not only does it provide a sort of magically enhanced defense, it also grants you 2 powers per long rest. The first is that you can transform into a swarm of ravens. And the second is that in a reaction to taking damage, you can transform into a swarm of ravens having the damage against you, which is kind of separate. Like you would have the damage and then reform instantly. Or you can turn into a swarm of ravens for whatever purpose that you choose to.
This item is crazy.
That's super cool. Are we gonna? I feel like we're gonna need actual dice here.
Nope, no dice. Everyone's just 1 plus their bonus.
I will say,
Good luck on
I
a
did want to
tackle.
say, Peter, I totally understand this kind of vocational drive when I was wearing that uniform. I just wanted to deliver the mail for some reason.
I don't blame you. If you ever need to borrow it, I have plenty of spares.
Oh, I might have to take you up on that at some point. Assuming I get actual flesh back at some point.
Oh, I definitely want to check something in my bag while I'm getting changed.
Sure.
Do I still have
your point about returning to flesh? I'm not sure if you remember, but the Countess said that over time, over the course of a couple days, the clay would eventually be replaced with flesh. Your body will resume its. Okay, just.
It was just a sassy outlet for not being happy being a golem. But yes.
Sorry. Back to you, B/Evan.
Beatrice is going to look through her backpack and see if she happens to still have certain books and or gems and or little figurine from the previous room.
Your bag is empty of all those items.
Nice
Beatrice
try,
kind of
Dylan.
mutters.
Stasis spell?
Beatrice mutters a word under her breath that no one can really hear.
Is it
Unless you're-
EP?
Oh, Beatrice, are you saying something?
Fiddlesticks.
Nothing. Of course, no.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
assuming that
you can
applies
see,
to my
like-
books as well.
Yeah.
You can see her
Anything
furrowed
that would have been
brow.
pulled out of the room is gone.
We aren't here to steal stuff, so. Or at least I'm not.
I mean, I was
Opposing
murdered,
position
so I
fire.
feel like I'm gonna have chats with her later. But
So if you are all finished with what you'd like to do.
Yep.
Whoever, I guess, designated leader of the group, random designated leader. If you open the door, you'll see the Countess standing there, as if she has potentially been standing there the whole time. It's impossible to tell, really. And she'll look you up and down and ask, "Are you suitably refreshed, or have you yet to start?"
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, all of the surprise bees really did us good there. Perhaps a warning for your next investigators. But yes, we are ready to go.
Excellent. And again, the room around you will dissolve and reform into a beautiful dining room, elaborately set with fine silverware, crystal decanters, full of liquids of every color, as well as some beautiful vases which hold familiar looking orchids that are spaced regularly down the center of the table. Of course, behind the chairs and against the walls, you see portraits that you're now familiar with, depicting both what you can see noble people of as well as Zorovian landscapes and architecture, or Zorovian landscapes and architecture, I should say, and also regularly spaced identical suits of armor as the one from the study and the one from the grand hall that you entered. None of the chairs have been filled, but doing a quick count in your head, there are 13. One at the head of the table, and then 6 on each side. The Countess heads to the doors of the hallway, or the eating hall, and makes a gesture. They open, and a diminutive little woman scurries inside.
Oh.
But Rocket is with us.
Oh, sorry, an attractive diminutive woman.
Wow.
So, as true as possible to the picture, she's definitely tiny size. She's got very green, spiky hair that looks like grass. She wears leather that seems stained with dirt and soil, but is also elaborately decorated with chalk white lines and spirals. She has a thick brown utility belt that seems to have an array of different tools and pouches and vials. You can spot like a spade and a small little rake and various things. She wears fingerless work gloves. But apart from that, what you notice most about her, and she's 3.5 feet tall, so she's quite small, just to give you a sense, is that she has a trilling bird that hops from one shoulder to another and back again.
So Rocket's just gonna kind of like size her up a little bit, and then gonna like beckon my Winston, my little mechanical bird, to come out on my shoulder.
We circle each other like two cats.
Yeah. Just slow going around.
I'm going to Minos is going to
gnome, eh? Sorry to.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So you would recognize another gnome instantly if no one else would.
Minos is going to ask what her bird's friend's name is in Druidic. So in the language Druidic.
Oh, it just, her eyes brighten and widen when you speak to her in Druidic. And she says, "Oh, I haven't met another druid in so long. Welcome."
Oh, I know. It's and in the middle of the swamp, I'm feeling quite sluggish too.
Yes, this area has a very strange effect about it. It affects, I think, us most of all, since we're so in tune with nature. But, you know, nature does come in many different forms, and it's not that one form is better than the other. They really all play an important role in the ecosystem, but of course you know that as much as I do. Anyway, this is Chirpy. Chirpy is my animal companion, so we travel everywhere together. So don't mind him, he'll be bouncing around and whispering to me, but he's very friendly. We're both very friendly. I haven't been around people in a very long time, so I'm sorry if my social skills are a little off.
No worries, my little diminutive friend. And going back into common, Minos going to say, yeah, she's a gnome, all right.
So Rocket's gonna like step right between them, like in front of Minos, and just like look at her and go, "Darling, what do you think you're doing here, darling? Who are you? What are you doing? What is going on here?"
I was invited here for dinner. I've never been invited to stay for dinner before. Frankly, I didn't even think the Countess ate or could eat. But I guess she must eat because we're here for dinner.
You know what, darling? You know that's a lot of information, darling. So you're not the only one here right now. I can also speak really fast. So I don't know what you're doing right now, but it's not really cool.
Oh, well, what would you like to speak about? I love your bird. He's very cute.
Oh, you mean Winston here, darling? Oh, he's great, darling. Do you want to go say hi, Winston?
She will hold out her hand.
Winston will go to it.
Oh my gosh! It's a machine-y thing.
It is, darling. I made it myself.
Oh, it's so lifelike. You would never guess it was something unnatural.
Okay, so this is the moment where Rocket begins to love this person. So my name's Rocket.
Look at us, they can be best friends, and we can be best friends. Let's all be best friends.
I mean, that's a little much, darling, but we'll get there. I think we'll get there. Yes.
A little strong.
Oh,
You can't just randomly join adventuring parties. That's not the way it works.
So while the gnomes are babbling, I'm gonna go for the
We have names, okay?
I'm gonna ask the Countess who's invited to dinner, like who she's expecting.
I've invited the 5 people who have been of service to the manor since I began my residence here, and as a result have a standing invitation to come. This dear friend is Ella Saskin. She is my botanist, if you will. She is responsible for caring for any of the flora that exist on my estate and throughout the valley, of course. She helps to ensure that its fertility remains abundant. And she fetches samples for me, of course. The orchids, for instance. I'd be lost without her.
Mm-hmm.
Do you expect any? Are you suspicious of any of these people, or are these actually just the only ones that could have come into the manor?
They're the only ones who could have come in, but as a general rule, I'm suspicious of everyone. That said, I would be rather depressed if the gnome was the one responsible. I
Are
mean,
you still within earshot of us right now?
We're busy.
Okay.
yeah, she could be an earshot, and it doesn't look like Ella's picking up on it.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna say, Countess. Have you ever thought of the possibility that she might have tapped your lines, proverbially?
If that is some sort of sexual innuendo,
I don't know what that means, Oliver.
No, if the plants we
Referring to the
determined
plants, of course.
mentioned that they can communicate with one another, yes?
yes, telepathically, and I have patched myself into that particular network. Yeah.
Have you done it personally, or has she tapped you into it?
While the ritual was a little outside of my bailiwick, she was
Oh, I see. So you don't know.
in helping me design something specific.
Now, this might be a wild idea here, but it's possible that she hasn't tapped you into the entire network of information, that you might be out of the loop, and that she's actually taking your secrets and bringing them elsewhere.
That one?
I mean,
it's possible, I suppose.
I agree she's not what I would consider traditional in espionage, but that's probably what makes her so dangerous.
It's not outside the realm of possibility. She has access.
Just something to consider for this evening.
You think I should kill her?
Not quite yet.
It might
but-
be easiest. Have you considered just killing all of the people?
Yes.
Oh,
And if you're unable to identify the culprit, that is precisely what I will do before this evening is over.
At this moment, Rock is just gonna like look over her shoulders and be like, "Have you met her? She's amazing."
Met her, I can smell her.
Oh,
She's
God.
very welcome at the party. Come on
Matter, I
over.
barely even know her.
Come on over here.
Countess,
you.
feel free to take the other one too.
And Beatrice will kind of walk over and be like, "Oh, sorry, there's something affecting my." She'll take out the perfume, and she'll like put a couple good spurts here and squirt a couple into the air and walk through it, but very
What?
noticeably towards the gnome. As I imagine she smells not like the flower she's trying to embody.
You should sell that.
It's very floral. Yes, very accurate, and I've been told.
Yes.
And my
Lots of
dear,
flowers.
who might you be? And Beatrice will kind of get down like a pseudo lunge down on one knee-ish and extend her hand.
Oh, I'm Ella, and she'll take your hands with one hand with both of hers, and she'll shake it very vigorously. Her hands are small but very rough, very calloused from what you can feel in the fingers, and then the work gloves are quite hardened from
Okay.
labor, you would imagine.
As she's doing that, as she's getting closer, can I take a really good look at what is on her person?
Sure.
I don't know if the rolls work right now, but I will try. So investigation.
Yep, please.
There we go.
Oh,
Good.
nice.
Another sub 10. Woo.
it works. Everything's back to normal.
Yeah.
Back to normal. She
She's wearing clothes.
Yeah, she's wearing clothes. They're work clothes. You know, you could definitely buy her as some kind of gardener. Certainly not dressed for an occasion at a manor. What catches your eye most, apart from the bird that hops around her, are the spirals and lines that decorate her emerald tunic and boots. They are elaborate, but the white is so like clean, like so bright white, next to sort of the dirty emerald that's been grimed up from the work that she's been doing, grubbing around in the earth.
Okay, sure. Beatrice will as soon as she actually lets go of the hand, Beatrice will kind of like take it back. I'm assuming it's kind of dirty, so
I was gonna say it's a little dirty.
So she's gonna just put it behind her back and press to digitate it clean again, very very kind of subtly, and she'll be like, "Oh, that's a lovely pattern you have there. I haven't seen that. Like, what is that?"
Thank you. I do them myself, actually. When I'm not too busy gardening, I have to have some sort of creative outlet. And what I do is I carve. So occasionally when you're walking through nature, I mean, your druid friend will understand this completely. You'll come across a poor little critter that did its best in life and has now crossed over the rainbow bridge to its next incarnation. And so I take the body and I get rid of all the meat and the skin, and I take the bone and then I carve it up and I decorate.
Oh, so you're an artist with bone.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, and you love birds.
I do love birds.
Oh,
well, I love this bird especially because he's my special friend, Chirpy.
Well, that's a suspicious coincidence. And she'll just kind of
suspicious
smile
about-
and like walk away.
Oh. Can someone give
Lovely
me a
meeting you.
perception?
At this point, I think Beatrice is the murderer.
Hello, killer.
You're like, nice, so good to meet you. So good.
So good.
But I really think...
Tim, you said you wanted a perception check, sorry?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind. Anyone who can hear, which is probably everyone.
I was gonna say, she didn't sound like a quiet gnome. Ooh.
I'm not gonna roll because I'm just gonna be too perplexed on this gnome to really perceive anything.
Oliver is also perplexed. As is Peter. Perhaps they're deep in conversation about what they've just been through. There's a lot going on. However, Ironjaw, Bee, and Minos will recognize that when her bird trills, it makes a very familiar melody.
As the bone bird from
bone
the study.
bird.
In the study.
Hmm.
If I'm still over by the Countess, this might have been something we would have talked about earlier, but does she know how to get souls out of a soul gem?
It's a rather elaborate necromantic ritual, but it is not impossible.
Okay. 'Cause
It's not as simple as just like, you can't smash, I don't know if you recall, you can't smash the gem. Like
yeah, you can't break them.
Right, they're pretty much impenetrable, and they actually transfer their damage to like the nearest sentient creature, which sucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a way to release the soul, but it's involved. It's not.
Because this would be one of the last chances for someone to try to trap a soul that they want tonight.
True.
It seems like it might be a possible outcome.
On that note, our next guest has arrived.
Oh, is it a necromancer?
The Countess gestures, and the great doors open again. And this time, you see a well-dressed tiefling woman enter.
Boring. Yawn.
Have bat wings.
And she will walk up to the Countess and she will bow deeply at the waist and say, "Countess, great to see you. I appreciate this invitation. The consortium is ever at your service." And she'll look around at each of you individually and kind of openly size you up and down. And you can see kind of the wheels turning in her head as she's trying to make sense of this hodgepodge, if you will, of random sort of guess.
Beatrice is mirroring the shit out of that.
So Rocket is circling the gnome and Beatrice is circling it. This isn't intended to be like a mirror at
Yeah, I want to know who mine is.
a Minotaur enters.
I don't like him.
Only other Minotaur in the universe.
I feel like Beatrice is about to go full Real Housewives with this one.
The tiefling will go up to Beatrice and stick out her hand and say, "Hello, I'm Amelia. What's your name?"
Be charmed.
God.
And Amelia, tell me about yourself. What?
Amelia with eyes, no E's.
Oh, of course. How silly of me, Amelia. What brings you to this soiree?
The same as you, I imagine. I was invited by the Countess. She's not the type of woman you say no to.
Oh, so she's invited you before.
Well, not to dinner, but I have extended business meetings with the
Too
Countess.
bad.
She's entrusted the consortium with most of the trade into and out of Zerovia.
Oh, interesting. What is this consortium? Is this like a discount store or a group that, what kind of... Well, please
We're
tell
one
me.
of the most vast trading networks in all of this realm. If you want it, we can get it. If you have it, we can sell it.
What is it?
Whatever you need it to be. Whatever you want it to be.
Stardom.
A certain je ne
We
sais
have one simple rule. Everything has a price, and the same goes for people.
What about...
What would my price be?
God.
Depends on what use we would put you to. Do you have any special talents I should know about? Anything you will and won't do?
I can pull like troughs through a farm. I can pull wagons. I'm pretty good at eating out of grab bags.
He's basically a beast
Or
of
feed
burden.
bags.
Well, you look
I like to
pretty
carry
small.
things. I carry rocket too. That's nice.
What's a rocket?
Oh,
Was
I'm
my
over
f-
here, darling. I'm a little busy though.
Is that one of the gnomes?
Oh, you're a gnome steed. Well, I suppose we could get several hundred gold for you.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
Yes, rental, of course, but renewable upon agreement of both parties.
What sort of shipping would you have for small items like this?
Shipping.
Whoa, B, you never asked me about shipping before. Where does the sudden interest come from? You have an expert in your midst, and you're asking this stranger?
Well, we offer...
B, I'm hurt. This is...
We're looking for a private courier. You're, of course, the finest in the land, but we're looking for...
Courier? You don't even know her!
Please, perhaps we can talk about this later.
He's right, we are the best delivery service. Completely confidential. We can get...
She did it!
Anywhere.
That's a bold-faced lie. Bold-faced lie! Who? Consortium, no! Bold-faced lie.
Of course, it's always good to have a cheaper option available for customers who are not able to afford premium service.
I feel like someone should hold Peter back.
Yeah, I might do that.
This consortium is receiving many an angry letter from me, miss. Oh wow, I'm channeling B now. Look at what you made me do, B.
He's going to stand directly...
We'll expect to maybe receive those letters of complaint in a year or two.
Beatrice is going to just stand and move right in front to eclipse her and be like, you were saying...
I was saying I could rent your friend for several hundred gold per month.
I was asking about delivery methods, darling.
Oh, delivery methods. Well, we ship along most of the regular routes. We have access to certain largely inaccessible places, but it, of course, depends entirely on the item to be moved and the preferences of our clientele. Nothing is off the table.
And you
Out
have
of
dealings with the Countess?
Yes, we handle a lot of Zgrovia's trade. I dare say all of it, actually.
Oh,
So
all
did
of it.
we escort one of their shipments when we came here?
You did.
Oh. Payment?
Yeah.
What about
You,
it?
you owe us some gold.
Payment upon delivery. Not from me, from the Countess.
I forget what we delivered.
Well, it wasn't that bag of bones.
Zerovia's needs are relatively simple. It was probably basic goods that they can't get here. They are chiefly agrarian society, but they make the finest produce that I've ever encountered. The foodstuffs of kings and queens. It fetches quite the premium.
Sure,
Our
when
relationship
humans are
with
the
Zerovia
are
is
the part of the
extremely
fertilizer.
profitable. Sorry?
Oh, sorry, no, I said I'm sure it grows very well when human remains are the fertilizer.
I
Well,
also have a
however they
druid
do
on
it.
staff.
While she's kind of distracted, B is going to just kind of slowly turn to Peter. Peter, and just be like, Peter, head in the game. Let's go. Focus.
Talk to you right now.
Darling, I'm an actress. And then she'll just turn back around.
Our next guest is here. The Countess will gesture, and the doors will open to reveal a man.
Please don't be Gunnar. Please don't be Gunnar.
A man named Gunnar.
Ooh.
So the man who walks in
Stewie.
is a lithe and lean man. He has angular features. He's clearly an elf. He has pale gold skin, expressive silver eyes, and wheat-colored hair down to his shoulders. He wears outdoor gear. He has a cloak that covers his armor and gloves. He actually goes directly to the Countess, and he kneels and takes both of her hands in his. And he says, Countess. And she says, my shining lord. And then he stands up. And she extends her hand to present you to him and him to you.
Beatrice is definitely extending her hand to this fine gentleman.
You will bow and kiss it.
What's that?
You will bow and kiss your...
And
Did we
she's
get its
gonna
name?
make...
Did we get its name in the intro? I'm sorry, did we miss that?
Not yet.
Oh.
No, not yet. And she's gonna make sure that her chest is a little more proud. She'll be like,
Oh, can I
enchanted
cast a
her.
minor illusion on the side to make it look bigger?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna do that.
His eyes will linger.
So like, my dear, what may I call you?
Jander Sunspirit. Oh, excuse me. Jander Sunstar at your eternal service, madam.
Oh, be best. Wink. Charmed.
Sure you are. The best.
So do you come here often? Beatrice is gonna look this guy as she extends a hand. She's gonna be checking out his other hand. Is there a ring?
Unfortunately, or fortunately, you cannot tell because he's wearing his gloves.
Mm-hmm.
So any
Not wearing
ring
his
would-
ring over his glove? No?
No. Is that a thing people do?
I think so.
Okay,
Depends on
good.
how long you're wearing the glove, I guess.
Yeah.
I come as often as I can.
What?
Sure.
So do I.
Oh God, is she our negotiator?
Oh,
Look,
no.
Tell me more about yourself.
I'm gonna change my spell to make it look like her breasts are smaller.
He immediately loses all interest. No.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a simple man. A man of action more than words.
What actions do you provide to the Countess?
Whatever she needs of me, I am a jack of all trades.
Yet master of none?
A Jack or a John?
Better to be a jack of all than a master of one, I say.
Oliver, you just focus on staying alive.
Jesus, too soon, Minos. God. So could you go into a little bit more depth as to what these services are? Are they largely personal?
Well, in that she is a person, yes, they are personal services.
Okay, I don't know a classy way to keep asking, so I'm gonna let it go.
Well, we could ask the Countess. Countess, what business do you have with this man? Why is he one of the special 5 who get access to your house?
I trust Jander to handle a variety of things on my behalf. We have a similar worldview.
Countess, we cannot help you unless you are specific.
This is way too loud of a conversation to be having with Jander right there. So she is. So B is going to just scoop her arm into his and start kind of walking about the large room.
Oh, he'll definitely go with you. In fact, the way he responds and moves and engages you in conversation, this is very second nature to him. He's very comfortable talking with someone new environment. It's all easy to him.
And as she's going to grab, she's going to accidentally drop one of her handkerchiefs. And she wants to kind of see if he's quick in reaction.
He can grab it before it falls an inch or two from your hand.
Okay, so quite quickly.
Very quickly.
Oh.
Doesn't wait to see if B will bend over to pick it up.
Preternaturally quick.
Very, very agile you are.
That's probably why he was so slow. He was thinking about it.
So
but
agile.
Show off instead.
No, it's not playing dang.
Please tell me more about what kind of services you offer.
I am a utility man. I do whatever needs to be done.
So,
woman of influence.
Rogues know thieves can't as a way to hide messages in conversation, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to see if he picks up on any of that. So I'll try to like fill in and say, oh, so you're a man about the house, as it were. You walk about at noonday and fill in the blanks when the Countess needs you to.
Does he have to be a rogue though to understand? He would have to be.
It's thieves can't. So a thief or a rogue.
Someone whose dealings in shady underworlds.
A ne'er-do-well.
Would be able to speak this
Miscreant.
kind of language.
Yeah.
And by shady underworld, you mean?
He would pick up on it for sure, so he can kind of reply with the can't sort of keywords of. Yeah.
Untrained. Oh.
Yeah. You get the impression that he operates on whatever side of the law is required to accomplish whatever task he has been given. He's a fixer.
Mm-hmm.
He fixes
like
problems.
A useful person to know.
For the Countess that she can't entrust to her botanist or her trade envoy or one of the other people. He's kind of like the hand of the Countess, if you will.
Seems like we're kind of stepping on his toes a little bit tonight.
B is going to keep
would
going.
Be if he were not a suspect.
Yes.
B is going to keep going. Be like, oh, Shining Lord. Surely that isn't in relation to your last name.
Oh, that's a personal joke that the Countess has between us.
I mean, she's been very open with us, so you can be open with me as well.
Consider me wide open.
Is Sunstar a family name? Is it a calling or is it a skill set?
It is a family name from an old elvish house of Evermeet.
Evermeet. Interesting. You have to tell me more about yourself. You seem so mysterious.
Oh, if I told you, that would ruin the mystery. And I might lose your attention to one of the other gentlemen here. How could I live with myself? Committing such
Well,
unforgivable sin.
we may find out. And she'll give like one.
We may find out.
She'll give a gentle squeeze on the arm, and then she'll just kind of slowly walk away, maintaining eye contact, and then rejoin the Countess.
He will bow deeply.
Doesn't she have like, she must have like 6 or 7 by now.
Oh, you
Yeah.
guys beat me to it.
Yeah.
He has only one,
See, I was paying attention.
and she hasn't pulled out the sock puppets yet.
Oh, thank God. I might have to shoot someone if that
That won't be a
happens.
mood killer.
You haven't seen where the sock puppets go.
Oh,
Oh, is there a gift for that?
another.
Is there a gift? Oh my God, what do you want from me?
The Countess will gesture and the doors will open again. And this time, a different elf will step through. Also a man, but whereas Jander was or is a sun elf, so he's gold skin. This is a dusk elf, so he has purpley skin. Kind of like the tiefling, I guess. He is very
Oops,
heavily
sorry.
cloaked. In fact, you can't. The cowl of his cloak hides his whole face in shadow, even more than the picture relates. He also wears gloves on his hands, so you wouldn't necessarily see his hands either. But otherwise, it's a pretty decent representation of this particular gentleman. He's a bit shorter and skinnier than Jander, and yeah, he's got his long cloak. He walks through very brusquely into the center of the room, kind of takes it all in one quick spin, and then sits immediately at the table without saying a word to anyone.
He's gonna like elbow Minos and be like, Minos, a gentleman would offer to take someone's coat upon entering their home.
Oh, is that something that you should be doing, Beatrice? Would you like to be a gentleman?
Please take his coat.
Oh, okay. Good sir, could I take your coat?
No,
Can I take your gloves?
no.
Can I have something of yours? I'm not sure what Beatrice wants, but she wants something from you.
Please leave me alone.
Gunnar!
Not Russian enough.
Not Gunnar, he's not big. He's a little.
Countess, as she drinks her wine.
More wine. You're gonna get super raped. Go ahead.
Countess, is she like conscious? Countess?
Proceed.
Okay. Could you please, would you mind giving an introduction to this new character?
But of course. Stand up, if you please, Casimir. We
Oh.
are, after all, civilized folk here. Casimir will slowly get to his feet and kind of nod his head generally at everyone before he sits back down.
Oh wait, can I take your coat? I'm gonna like tug on his jacket before he sits back down.
He will hiss and yank his coat out of your hands.
Oh.
Like, get off me, you stupid beast.
No, I'm trying to be a gentleman.
Go try to be a gentleman somewhere else, you miserable cow.
Oh, okay. Bye.
Yes, that was highly uncivilized, Minos. I believe you should probably take a few steps back.
Okay. I do.
Having grown up in fine society, I know there are certain things you just don't invade a gentleman's privacy. Am I right?
Of course, obviously.
Oh, he's silent.
What?
I see.
No.
Okay.
But Beatrice, you told me to do it.
We'll grunt sort of affirmatively, like, yeah.
Yeah, we must respect everyone's privacy here. Now, Countess, how are you acquainted? How do you know each other? Where'd you guys meet?
We are countrymen, country people, if you prefer. We were born in the same region.
That's
Yeah.
vague enough to make sense. You were born in the same region, the same town, the same village. Could you be more specific, please?
Same house.
We are both Barovian.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Oh,
Still doesn't explain why he's here. Sorry, my nose.
Is he also really, really old like you?
Elves tend to live a very long time, yes.
Okay, you're not giving me much here.
Context. What is the Countess? What race?
Okay, so if you recall, the Countess often appears human, but on occasion, her face changed when she gets particularly infuriated, and she takes on a rather hideous appearance, for lack of a better term. Which is not consistent, sorry, with being an elf or anything. I don't know if you can see. Does that get me to move?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it works. Yeah.
Okay. It's not moving for me, but.
You might not have Discord clicked on. Needs to be your active window.
So that being said, it's not consistent with a race that you are necessarily familiar with.
Mm. Does this guy kind of look like her, I guess, in terms of like racial features?
No, but he looks like a dusk elf, so he has that purpley skin. But one thing you do notice about him, when you were tugging his cloak and you managed to pull a little bit of his back, his skin is sort of rotted. Like it looks unhealthy.
Ooh.
So he's like a dusk elf, but something's wrong with him.
The cream for that.
We're like deep inside, right? There are no windows in the room.
Correct. No windows.
Countess, could I please have a word quickly?
Why, you may have several.
Well, I'd hope so, considering, you're the reason we're here. So I want to move her away from this guy, and I want to ask, so how do you, being countryman is not specific. How do you know him? What is the deal?
We are both Barovian, and I have interests in Barovia.
You want us to find someone who's after you, right? I'm gonna need a little more than that.
He and I share a common enemy in Barovia, and he monitors that enemy for me.
Interesting.
Who is that?
Hey, Peter.
Come on, Oliver. You might want to ask that question.
Of course, given this most recent attempt on my life, he is either failing his duties rather miserably, or
working for him.
Allegiance is not as clear as I had hoped.
So he predominantly is in
Knock it off, Jamie. Sorry.
Are male people particularly adept at identifying undead? I feel like it's a thing you run into a lot on your rounds.
Male. Only when they're specially trained, and that male is like a calling to them.
It seems like there might be more to this elf than him just being an elf.
Let me see what my male experience and what I can sense divinely.
This is going to be interesting.
Celestial, fiend, undead within 60 feet. I can know the location of them. I can also detect good and evil.
All right. So
Also, anything affected by the hollow spell, but to be honest, I don't know what that is, so...
oh my goodness. Okay. So you do sense a powerful overarching hollow. It is so vast that you can't detect the edges of it, which is very unusual. A hollow is usually a specific location that is enchanted with a powerful magic that affects sort of the environment. Like it's a location-based magic that imbues a certain location with certain characteristics that can vary depending on the enchanter's wishes. This hollow is huge, like beyond the manor huge. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so that's the example of what a classic hollow would be. So you realize that you have been within a hollow probably since you have entered Zerovia. So very powerful magic is just operative environmentally throughout this valley. In terms of undead, you don't sense any, what is it, fiends or celestials?
Celestial, fiend, and undead.
Yeah. In terms of undead, the Dusk Elf is not undead. Whatever is afflicting him, it's not that he has died and come back to life.
Mm-hmm.
Jander is undead. So that is the Sun Elf you met. Do you know what type of undead or just that they're undead?
It just says undead.
Perfect. And the Countess is undead as well.
We need that one.
What? You knew.
Some zombo sex going on.
Subtly charades it to the rest of the group. We'll be like,
Do a performance check.
Oh God. Interesting. So Countess, just a follow-up question. Is it largely espionage she does for you?
Espionage is a very active term for...
It's too specific of a term, Oliver.
Oh,
Can you
sorry.
think of something more vague?
I mean...
It's more of a surveillance. I don't expect him to take direct action to sabotage this particular enemy and expose himself. He is to watch and to report.
And how have his reports been? Are they nothing suspicious, I imagine, considering he's still in your employ?
Correct. Nothing has changed for centuries. But suddenly something has changed. And if you're right about the motivations, then he is, again, a complete and abject failure.
Mm-hmm. And what's wrong with his arms?
He was marked by a deal he made.
Oh, interesting. Can I do knowledge? Oh, I don't know any details yet. Go on.
Please tell me more.
Yes. A deal, you say. What kind of deal? Does this have to do with extraplanar beings, mayhaps?
A very astute observation.
Seems that you are also well read up on, from what I saw in your library. We will come back to that point later. But
great. It's not like my life hangs in the balance in the meantime.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, if you don't survive, neither do I. So we would. It's good.
Right.
Okay.
With one exception, you might not survive either way.
I'm gonna go talk to him very quickly.
But there's one way where you definitely don't survive.
Hello. Yes, we just spoke 2 seconds ago. I've noticed.
Hi, you may recognize me from such conversations as 5 seconds ago.
Stand by that. So I happened to notice when your cloak was tugged, I noticed what's very obviously a mark of a pact of sorts. No need to be alarmed. I myself might have experience with those. Cool. Yeah, great, awesome. Any anything? Have you talked to any kind of clerics about it, or?
This conversation is so problematic.
Strong,
And only one
silent
person's
type.
talking.
Yeah, strong, silent type. Cool. Well, I should be going, but you have a lovely evening, and I'm gonna briskly get out of there.
Beatrice is going to go over to Jander again and be like, well, what an interesting... Sorry, the meme's solid. We'll walk over to Jander and be like, well, of all the people, you do seem the most interesting. Do you know any of the other guests that have been invited?
I've crossed paths with all of them, one way or the other. The Countess prefers to have a bit of background on the people she does business with, which is why I am quite perplexed at our current situation.
Please go on.
Well, I haven't encountered any of you before, nor have I been instructed to encounter any of you before.
Well, I mean, we help the Countess out with various tasks as well. Perhaps we could exchange information.
An alliance of sorts. I think an exchange could be very beneficial.
Perhaps. What do you know about these people? She'll just kind of subtly dart her eyes around.
Well, there is one guest we're missing, but the gnome botanist is, as you probably have witnessed, completely harmless. She's about as dangerous as a daisy. Still, she's got some good survival traits. She's able to handle any plant or animal that you can come across as easily as you might cut a slice of bread. There is nothing in nature that seems to bother her. Casimir, of course, is a whole other story, the complete opposite end of the spectrum. He is a dangerous man to people who are not used to dealing with dangerous men. Not as dangerous as me, of course, but dangerous enough. You do well to keep your distance. The tiefling, I mean, she's a tiefling. You can't trust her any further than you'd throw her. But as long as the money's right, her loyalty will follow the dollar.
And what about yours?
What about my loyalty?
Of course.
Well, it is a very expensive commodity.
And what expensive taste do you have?
I have a taste for blood.
She'll almost be taken aback a little bit, but she'll be like, that's an uncommon taste where I'm from.
Not so uncommon here. But don't worry, I'm very particular in who I choose to indulge myself in.
Can I do a knowledge check to see if I can piece anything together about that?
Sure.
Because I assume there wouldn't be anything like vampirism anywhere else. Sorry, it's roll check knowledge or roll knowledge check?
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
you
what are
have
you
to
checking?
Specify what kind of knowledge.
Oh,
I think religion usually for undead, isn't it?
Yeah, religion typically.
Religion, yeah.
okay, let's try that. Good. Strong.
You don't really know what to make of him. He's hinting that, and from what Peter has told you, that there's something maybe undead going on there, but he doesn't look like any undead you've ever encountered before. He's handsome, he's charming, he seems full of life, for lack of a better word. He seems like a contradiction in terms.
Okay. And the last guests, what do you know about them?
He's a bit of a mystery. He should be showing up any time now. Sorry, a mystery is a bit of a strong word. He's some kind of cultural expert, like an archaeologist, ethnographer, anthropologist, if you will. The Countess had him following around a group of Vistani last I checked.
For what purpose?
I don't know. She has an interest in one of the Vistani families.
Okay.
I don't always get to ask why. I just do what she wants. When she's happy, I'm happy.
She does seem to have the effect on people.
She does indeed.
Well, thank you. I look forward to chatting again throughout the evening.
I'll be sure to find a seat by you.
She'll kind of do like a half flirty giggle, just like one chuckle, and then walk away.
What does that sound like, Evan?
That was good.
Actually, no, I think it would probably be more like
Ooh.
A little sultry.
a little sultry. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I can throw a performance check down if you want, but I think it's pretty obvious that she would crush it.
I think it was good. So no sooner than you finish your conversation than the last guest arrives, and the Countess gestures. Doors open to admit a wood elf. So kind of finishing our elf trifecta. He is the tallest of them and the most thickly built.
Oh me, oh my.
Which is consistent with the fact that he is a wood elf. He has copper skin rather than the kind of burnished gold skin that Jander has. Light brown hair with copper streaks and intelligent honey-colored eyes. He seems, despite the fact that he's the tallest of the elves and the most muscular, he kind of holds himself like he's a little hunched over, and he seems a bit nervous, and so he kind of walks in and he like bows to the Countess and he's like whispering with her and she's engaging with him. And when he kind of finishes, she gestures and says, may I introduce our final guest for the evening, Pacus Autumnlight, the foremost authority on the Vistani people.
A fellow scholar.
A very eminent scholar. He's authored quite a few books, many of which are in my library under his own name and a variety of pen names, if I understand it. And he blushes furiously and almost darts behind the Countess when she starts singing his praises, but manages to kind of like catch himself at the last and just kind of like looks awkwardly up at the ceiling and the sides of the room and anywhere that isn't anybody's face.
So I'm gonna kind of peek around her a little bit and be like, I would love to know more about your research and what gets you out into the field and what you do for most of, what is the main focus of your research?
When you say research, he seems a little more engaged, and he speaks quietly, and he's like, the Vistani people are a true fascinating relic of older times, a race bound by culture, not by blood. It's so rare for them to admit an outsider into their presence, and we get to observe rituals, traditions that have long since been lost to the ancients.
That does sound fascinating. It really does. It's
a shame they're so mistreated, so persecuted. They don't have a homeland, constantly wandering in fear for what new persecution they may suffer. It's a true tragedy. You can read all about it in my books.
Oh, and I most certainly plan to. I heard that you, the Countess herself, actually has quite a few of your books up in her study. How do you know her? How did you get in touch with her? It doesn't seem like your vocational paths would cross.
Well, it's not odd for a researcher to have a patron. We need contacts, we need money, we need resources. Our work is very important, but not always very, people don't want to pay for it.
I fully understand. As a fellow scholar, I 100% understand.
Yes. So what we're contributing, what we're building is really for the generations to come. And the Countess understands that. And so she has been most generous in helping me build my field of study. Yes. Yes.
Definitely. You must have research assistants, an
No,
eyes and
no.
ears network. No?
Just me. Yes, I work completely alone. It is crucial that I be alone. The Vistani are very suspicious of outsiders. I'm the only outsider, I think, that has ever been permitted to travel with them. Yes.
Interesting. And how on earth did you manage that?
Well, it's the Countess, you see. She was the one who was able to convince their leader to let me into their clan and follow.
She's quite the benefactor, I see.
She is. Everything would be impossible without her.
This has been absolutely fascinating. I will make a couple of rounds, but I most certainly plan to come back and ask you more questions.
Okay.
About your research, of course.
I will be right here. The Countess and I have much to discuss. Much to discuss.
Of course, I will leave you to it, and I'll back out.
B will hover over there.
Oh my god, the thirst.
She's a social butterfly. She has to talk to everyone at the party.
she kind of just hears, she's hearing him say, like, we have much to discuss, and she's just, she may just kind of wander nearby, but with a very open ear, as to not seem too...
Can I say one thing? Sorry. While they're all questioning, can Peter Post have positioned himself kind of not like too close to, but beside the guy that was quiet, and just show, like, try to mimic the disdain that he seems to be emanating? Like,
definitely.
Okay, so that while they're questioning, I'm gonna be like, if he scoffs, I'll be like, I'll roll my eyes when he does. I'll just mimic the behavior, see if I can get him to respond to me. Okay, as you were.
I love this.
Feel like maybe we should gather up and discuss what we know.
I'm waiting to hear what the Countess and this guy are talking about.
As they're talking, it's not a language that you're familiar with.
Well, that's upsetting because I know a couple languages.
You know Vistani?
I don't.
I'm almost certain you don't know this.
I probably don't know that. So I will just keep waiting.
I don't know if there's a check to tell what a language is.
If I don't know it, I don't know.
Probably
it.
intelligence. You could just do an intelligence check to be like, yeah, that's this language. I don't know it, but I know.
I mean, I can roll a 6 to tell me I don't know the language, or I can just say
but
I
if
don't
you
know.
wanted to recognize the language, it is Vistani. They're speaking Vistani to each other.
Oh.
Okay.
We do have that potion of comprehend.
Way upstairs.
That's really good. That's a really good suggestion, because I have the spell, but it would take me 10 minutes to cast it. So that seems like a better option.
Clear off the table. We gotta hurry before appetizers. Speaking of, silver serving trays will enter through the doorway of seemingly of their own volition, as if carried by unseen hands, one might say. And their little canapes, as well as drinks, flutes with the similar syrup that was served to you earlier when you first came to the manor.
He will hold a beverage, but will not drink it.
Okay.
In
Yeah,
fact,
I don't eat or drink, so I'm just gonna stand.
When the Countess senses there is a lull, she will invite you all to take your seats.
Oh yes, I'm very hungry. Thank you, Countess.
I'd like to put myself next to the scholar if possible.
Of course. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Beatrice will take a seat somewhere with 2 open seats next to her, and is just going to
test.
And is basically gonna wait until Jander finds a spot next to her.
Yeah, he will definitely take a seat next to you with a wide smile on his face. He will
Right before he does, I'll be like, "Can I take your jacket, sir?"
I love this.
He will pause and then he will clap you on the shoulder and say, "Of course you may." And
Oh
he-
yeah, thank you. Now I'm a gentleman. And I'm just gonna grab it and I'm gonna like toss it on the floor and then grab a seat.
And his gloves.
He will look at you, toss it down, and he'll just laugh. And
Okay.
clap you on the shoulder again.
I succeeded. I got a jacket.
Great job, honey. Now please take a seat.
And he will very much, Jander will position himself across from Casimir.
I'll go next to Ella.
If you let her, she'll have been talking your ear off about anything and every thought that enters her head. She always defaults to nature and to what she's just recently seen in nature, but she's willing to engage on anything or listen to you engage about anything and put in her 2 cents. Probably more like half a cent worth of.
So right now we're talking about gears and sprockets.
Sure. So she knows literally nothing about the topic, but she is trying to be very enthusiastic and eager to learn and eager to win your approval with how.
Cass, I just understood your name. When you said Sprocket, I'm like,
yeah.
oh, got it. Got it.
It took me a while too, actually. I think it was last week. But the Countess claps her hand and a steaming soup is brought out. It looks like some kind of squash or whatever. And everyone eats in silence. The more observant among you will notice that the Countess does not eat. The soup remains untouched in front of her. Jander also does not eat. He
A lot of people not eating.
like he'll take the spoon and he'll like spoon things up, but it never actually reaches his lips. He just kind of is going through the motions as if remembering, sort of. But everyone else will eat with gusto.
Minos will be very not obvious by trying to look. Oh, sorry. He'll be very obvious in trying to look not obvious. And when he notices that the Countess isn't kind of eating her soup, he will just very kind of slowly and nonchalantly like reach for her bowl to like drag it towards like right in front of Minos. And then if she doesn't stop, he'll just keep doing it until he's eventually just eating that soup as well.
Oh yeah, she'll let it go.
Okay.
I'm envisioning this, Minos, as if you're like several chairs down.
Reaching over like
reach
3
over.
people.
Like dead silence. It's like a scraping noise.
No one knows. You're doing fine.
I'm kind of expecting that Ella is going to basically be Miss Peacock at the Clue dinner party. And I'm waiting for someone, I'm picturing in my mind someone slurping soup really, really loudly.
She definitely eats with gusto, and she's not the neatest eater of all of them. Jander is definitely very refined in how he handles his cutlery, but he's not actually eating, so it's a little.
B is going to be casting prestidigitation as she's watching Ella just go full hog on this soup. And be like, oh, honey, you missed a little bit. And just like snaps her fingers and like it just goes away.
This is a delicious soup. Have you ever had a soup this delicious? Is it pumpkin? Is it squash? Is it turnip? Is it some kind of cross between turnip, pumpkin, and squash? I think it might be a new hybrid of those 3 vegetables. That is a great idea. You know what? Amelia, do you think we could sell this soup? If we started to package this soup, do you think that we could get the consortium to sell the soup? Because I think that would be a market in various places, because there aren't a lot of soups like this that are 3 different types of things all in once. What do you think, Amelia? Amelia is like not paying attention to her at all.
Didn't you grow these vegetables? Is this not a local soup?
It is a local soup, yes. I'm sorry. When I say that Ella is my botanist, her activities are typically outside of Zerovia. She does monitor to ensure that our agriculture is performing to my expectations, but primarily I sent her abroad to acquire new produce and so forth. She's
What did you
that
bring
is
back most recently, Ella? That sounds like a fascinating job.
Well, ever since I found these orchids, the Countess has been interested in other similar plants that sort of cross the boundary between plant and animal. So not quite animals, not quite plants. They're kind of like a plant animal or an animal plant. I don't know how you prefer to think of it. I mean, really, all life is just life, ultimately, and life is just energy. So really, we're all just one thing. When you think about it, we're all actually alive in the same way because we're all energy. So is a rock alive? Kind of. It's kind of alive. It's just not alive the way that like a plant would be or an animal. Anyway, as I was saying, I found the orchids for the Countess and she was super interested in that. So she sent me to look for more things. So I found this ivy, okay? And if you just encourage it to grow a certain way and you tinker with it a little bit of magic, a little bit of breeding, a little bit of the right fertilizer, you can actually really push its evolution along. And so a couple generations and now we have this ivy that actually like moves. It moves using its roots and it actually can hunt. So you should be really careful when you're moving through the swamp because it does get hungry and it will try to trap you and drain your blood.
Oh, that's fascinating. I love plants as well.
Yes, exactly. But again, this is not quite your average plant. It's more like a plant and an animal combined.
I like
a planimal.
Above average.
Oh my God, it's a planimal. I just came up with that. Did you guys hear that? Write that down. Write that down, Scholar. Write that down. Write a book. You can be my ghostwriter.
While she's talking, Minos is going to piece of bread, like small pieces of bread or whatever, and try to lure her bird over to him.
Okay, and
perhaps animal handling I could try.
Yeah, for sure. An advantage for the bread.
Oh, nice.
Birds love the shit out of bread.
Don't we all?
Bread makes you fat. Yeah, so perfect. Yeah, you're able to convince Chirpy to part ways briefly with his.
Okay. Now I'm gonna cast Speak with Animals.
Sure.
And I'm going to, so now talking to Chirpy. Oh, hi, little Chirpy. I was wondering if there, could you tell me if there was ever a fight between your master and this Countess?
Ella doesn't fight. Ella is nice.
Never ever?
Well, if something attacks her in the wild, sometimes she has to do a little stabby stab to make it go away. But usually they just go away. Once I had to peck at something's eyes. I was like, you stay away from Ella. And then it went away.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. So there's no reason why Ella would want to hurt the Countess that you know.
No, why would Ella hurt the Countess? The Countess is so nice.
Okay. Well, here, have some more bread.
Thank you for this bread. Do you like my song? I overheard it, and I think it's the prettiest thing. So now it's all I sing. Sing, sing.
Oh, where did you hear it?
I overheard it from that guy. And she'll look at the Apacus, Autumn Light, the ethnographer.
I'm sorry, the Wood Elf? Is it the Wood Elf?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, very fascinating. When were you near him to hear the song?
Well, Ella and I took a little bit of a side journey when we were invited to the Countess's for this dinner. She wanted to see how her ivy was doing in this new habitat. So we were wandering through the woods. The swamp woods. Swoods. Write that down.
Yeah, just like your master is very cute.
And I heard him making his song, and I thought it might have been another bird. So I sang it back to him, and then he kept singing it. And then we came and we saw that he was wandering through the woods, but he had a friend.
Oh, and his friend's not here right now?
No. His friend was a skeleton.
Oh, a skeleton, that's scary.
Yes, it was, because he had his leg.
What? The skeleton had this man's leg?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
the opposite.
Oh, okay. This guy had the leg of the skeleton. Well, it seems like he was better off in that deal.
Yes, better than the skeleton, I think, because most two-leggers need both legs.
Okay, sorry. Can you remind me right at the start? I think you had said that the song that Ella's bird sings is the same tune that we heard the mechanical bird sing in the study.
Correct, Amundo.
And that bird was in the box that had the CNS symbol
Correct.
as well. Okay, cool. Okay, thank you so much, Derby.
Can I clarify what one of the
Can you do
characters'
that?
names was? Oh, sorry.
Yep.
The guy that B is really interested, was it like Candor Sunspear?
Gender,
And-
yeah.
Gender Sunstar.
Oh, does that start with a G?
J. Ooh.
Oh, his name starts with a J.
Mm.
Sorry. It's like Gender.
Gandar.
It's not a soft G.
That's hot.
Gender. Ella Pakis. Oh my god, I can't remember. Casimir. Who's the last one?
The
The
tiefling? Tiefling, yeah.
Oh, that's right, Amelia, with all eyes.
Kind of as subtly as I can, I want to pull out an envelope from my mail case that I carry with me,
Sure.
and I'm gonna try to just like casually write that symbol that we saw on the bottom of the box.
Mhm.
And I want to lean over to the quiet guy and say, sorry to bother you. I have some mail and I'm having trouble recognizing where this is supposed to go. Is this yours by chance? Someone said that I should be coming here to deliver this.
The quiet guy will look and he'll say, I'm sorry, I don't think that's for me.
Oh, well, would you recognize where this would be? I was supposed to deliver it like yesterday.
I don't know. Maybe who else would know?
Don't say the fucking guy.
Yeah, the other delivery person.
Amelia, and she'll look across the
Uh-oh.
tiefling will look across the table, and she will say, "How did you get consortium mail? Give that to me."
And I will say, interesting.
I would like to see at this moment, sorry, very quick, in the consortium mail when she says that, is there anything, I'm going to try to like specifically look at the wood elf to see if he reacts in any way to that. Or is that who you were talking to already, the quiet guys, the wood elf?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, okay, fine. Never mind.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
No, that's okay.
Sorry, Jen, go ahead.
Aren't you
Come and
supposed
take
to
it, bitch. Okay.
She's ready to fight.
Just kidding. I won't say that.
All that's going on, I want to see what Casimir, if he's reacting to anything.
It's very hard to tell because of how shadowed his face is. So it'd only be when he rotates his head that you can kind of guess that his attention is moving from person to person. He doesn't make conversation, but he does
No
seem
kidding.
he does seem to focus on whatever conversation is nearest to him, like he's listening to it.
Okay, is he reacting at all to any of it, even non-verbally?
Yeah, stiffening or something of his posture. No, like he wouldn't understand anything that passed between Chirpy and Minos because that's through the spell.
Spell,
Yeah, and we don't know that either yet.
Yeah. So
Okay.
no, nothing yet. Like the consortium mail and so forth, he wouldn't
react to anything.
Okay. So she asked for the letter back. How far away is she on this table? Are we all kind of in speaking? Like, if we speak to someone, everyone can hear?
Yeah, like it's not. Yes, like if you really whisper, you could maybe keep it to the person to your immediate sides, but it's not like it's a super vast table. It's relatively appropriately sized for the 13 of you. So
Okay.
or 12 of you.
Through somewhat gritted teeth, Peter Post will say, "Oh, great. I would love to return this letter that I found to you. Perhaps someone of your esteemed delivery experience can give me some advice." And I'll like move closer to her. I'll say it exactly like that too.
If Beatrice is sitting next to if Beatrice is sitting next to her, she can make room. She can go snuggle up on Jander's lap if we need to make space.
So when you hand when Peter hands the letter to Amelia, you can see she has a tattoo on the inside of her right wrist that she takes the letter with, and it's the symbol that I just sent, which is very, very similar to the symbol that.
Oh, but it's not the same symbol.
Sorry?
It's not the same symbol.
Not exactly. It seems like a more stylized version, but
okay.
very similar.
Like a tattoo.
Yeah, it is her it is a tattoo for sure on her skin, but
No, yeah, never mind.
yes, it's like an interpretation of the symbol.
Amelia, I found this as we were coming here, and I'm confused because, like, as a mailman, I would never let the mail get lost by this. Do you have a delivery person that serves this area? Like, who could have lost this?
I don't know. One of our couriers, I suppose. I'll see if I can track them down. That kind of incompetence is not tolerated. They will be a former courier of the consortium. I can assure you of that.
Your couriers are in this hollow? Like, they're allowed to access?
Well, they can enter through the eye of the needle, the same way that you all entered Zorovia. Why? Where did you find this letter specifically?
Oh, it was just like floating around. I grabbed it. I was a little worried it would get damaged. I really
irresponsible.
care that getting mail to its correct location. I could talk to the courier. Who was the courier that would be delivering to this castle?
No one delivers to the castle.
Oh, well, I assume this was meant for the castle. It was near it.
That is very strange.
Perhaps you were the one that dropped it, Amelia?
I don't believe so. I don't have any correspondence on me. I travel light. In any event, all of our deliveries are made to the town of Zorovia. If the Countess needs to fetch something, it's from there that she will have it transported. None of our couriers go to the manor. Only I go to the manor.
As I suspected. Thank you for your time.
Are you handing the envelope to her?
The empty envelope?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Can I ask a question of, I think his name is Pacus?
Sure. Autumn Light? Yeah.
The scholar who I am sitting next to. So Pacus, I'm looking to start up my own research program, actually, and I'm in the market for patrons. Could you kind of describe what kind of working relationship that entails, some details, how often you meet with your patron, the Countess, any kind of details about that?
Well, it really is up to her how often we meet. She will sometimes summon me to the castle, as she did this time, yes, and I will come, of course. The Countess must take precedence over everything, but sometimes it does take a bit of time because the Vistani can wander so far. But she's very understanding, yes, and if she needs me immediately, she will facilitate a quicker return than usual, yes.
Interesting. And what do you do in your meetings? What is the main goal of your meetings?
I don't know that I should share that with you. It is of a sensitive nature.
Oh, no, scholar's honor. No details or anything, but of what sort of information vaguely do you discuss?
I report on the well-being of the Vistani family that she has asked me to monitor.
Interesting. And how did you meet the Countess in the first place? What initiated this funding for your research?
It was her. She initiated it. The strangest story. I saw her in a doorway, and a great raven came and dropped a letter to me. And that is how our relationship began, yes.
Oh, that sounds typical. Interesting.
So Minos is going to pop into this conversation. Sorry, just a reminder, Pockets, this is the wood elf that the bird spoke of in the forest. Okay, so Minos is going to chime in. He'll be like, oh, and do you deal with the skeleton folk that's around here as well?
What? Skeleton folk? Oh, no, of course not.
Oh, okay.
What?
And then Minos is going to whistle the tune that the bird was whistling.
Beatrice wants to insight the shit out of that.
Jesus, fuck, guys.
Casimir will slam his hand on the table. I don't have a table to slam.
Oh, I can do it.
Yes.
Nice.
Enough with that damn song.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. How do you know it?
Ugh. It is a Barovian folk song, and it drives me up the wall. It's all they ever play anywhere.
Can I insight this guy to see if this is kind of legitimate anger or irritation towards me / the song? Yeah?
Go for it.
Yeah, I already did that too.
Oh, I thought yours was about Pacus.
Yeah, you checked
That's
Pacus.
what.
No,
Oh, I'm
is that
checking.
not too.
This is the guy that you're flirting with who's upset with the song. He's
No.
mad with the song, right?
No,
No,
Pacus is
No, it's the quiet guy.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
the quiet
I
guy.
think this is all
Oh.
Pacus.
Okay, sorry. So the guy who slams his hand is the
Yeah.
dusk elf with the weird skin. who's
Okay.
really
Rotted. I tried to pull his jacket, didn't work.
Bingo.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Unfortunately, with the cloak hiding his face, you can tell he's upset, but you don't know how
Yeah.
legitimate.
I don't know him that well. Yeah, that's fair.
Beatrice, who were you inciting? Sorry.
I was inciting Pacus.
About his.
Denial of
Nice.
dealing with the skeletons.
That's it.
And the whistling tune, I guess, around the same time. How is he reacting to his interactions with Minos?
Sorry, who whistled the tune?
I did. Minos.
Okay. It's you rolled very well. So you're very confident that you have an accurate read of him, which is frustrating because he seems to be lying and telling the truth at the same time.
Mm.
It's like his body is telling the truth, but his eyes are lying.
Mm.
And when he whistles, or sorry, when Minos whistles,
Yeah.
something in him shifts for a
Uh-oh.
second. His posture, his demeanor, his bearing suddenly shifts, but then quickly goes back to the way it was before. It's like it
Just-
caught him off guard.
Almost as though he's
Character for a second.
yeah. So he's probably playing something up and something he doesn't know how to react to that in character.
Yes.
This is like Sherlock Holmes thing. Cause a distraction. It's the person who doesn't react.
Yeah, kind of blindsided him.
Cool.
Throw
So
one fire. It's the only way.
I'm gonna wait. Once there's a bit of a lull, Beatrice is gonna do something.
That might be now.
Yeah, we're at 9 p.m., so I think...
Okay. Basically, she'll be like, Countess, I'm not sure if your servants are still available. Can we help with the next round? We could perhaps go and get it. And before she even gets a chance, she'll be like, Minos and Rocket and Oliver, please come help me. Come help me. Peter, you two, come help. More hands. We'll get this done very quickly.
So everybody but who?
Literally,
I'll-
sorry.
All of you guys.
I guess I'll
Iron
follow.
Jaw as well.
Okay.
Oh, could you? Oh, this is so awkward.
Minos is not going to go. He's going to stay back, and he's like, "Oh no, Beatrice, you already got me to do one thing, so I'm gonna stay here and enjoy the food.
God.
Thank you."
I'm still a little angry at Beatrice, so I'm sitting as well. I'm gonna
Oh,
mumble and I'll be
no.
like, Beatrice isn't the leader of this group, Winston is. Jesus.
I'll go with Mama B.
So we'll go to the other room and
I'll go too.
and we're just gonna round about what we all know. So the only stuff that really isn't common knowledge at this point is the stuff that Minos would have pulled
Yo.
up.
Yeah, the one
That's
person who didn't want to come
critical.
with us.
Should have been a make it work more convincing.
The only stuff that isn't common knowledge right now would be what? Minos, what's the stuff that only you know?
that he met up with a like he was
skeleton missing a leg.
creeping about in like the
Skeleton,
forest nearby the thing, and he met up with Bone Daddy. I think we almost ran into that one time, but we hid. And he had
just
his
call him-
leg.
Did
But
you just call
you
him
don't-
Bone Daddy?
Yeah,
Yes.
but you don't know that. But you do know that I asked him about the skeleton, and you know your read of the situation from that.
Sure. So-
Jamie, just can you clarify which character was meeting the skeleton guy?
The wood elf.
Packus.
Okay, the archaeologist.
The
Yes.
scholar guy, yeah.
And it was the archaeologist that was looking strange.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm getting some weird vibes from everyone, and I have a feeling that this is not a single person who's involved here. Like, you've got the strange little woman who smells like foot, or smells like feet that probably carved the bone sculpture.
Probably,
You had Jander seems like the kind of person who would be able to get something rare like the soul gems. The consortium probably had a way to deliver things. The weird guy with the funky skin, I don't have a vibe for, but I do have a lotion.
Well, he's not a
And-
great talker, I can tell you that for sure.
And who else is left here? Is really just Casimir that doesn't fit into that.
Casimir, the weird guy with the skin.
So,
The
I'm
quiet
sorry,
guy,
B,
yeah.
do you think that everybody is guilty?
I
Did
think
we
that
just kill them all?
no, but I think everyone could be involved in some way. Because you've got Ella.
yes.
Ella doesn't strike me as someone who's evil, but if she made this sculpture in the bone bird thing, she might be involved. Also, don't like the idea of living ivy. Just saying.
Oh, she's at risk because of your prejudice.
Yeah, what's wrong with plants?
Now I can't
You're not in
understand-
the room.
I'm not.
So for my chats with Packus, I still haven't figured out what interest the Countess has in his work. He seems like an odd one out here, purely because I don't know what she gets out of this. She's a patron for his work, but why? She doesn't strike me as someone who's generous and benevolent, I would say.
Packus.
She
is-
has siblings that are kept hidden away.
She does, yes. It
True.
could yeah,
One of them
I
might
mean,
be
are
a
they
Scorpion.
Are they of this race that he's researching? Because she doesn't strike me as alive anymore.
I think he's under some sort of control, or whether he's acting or enchanted, he is acting very oddly. And I'll
Oh,
explain that
guys.
kind of like,
I'm
lying
dumb.
or
I can do
telling the truth.
detect magic.
yeah, look in, and you can cast it out here so they can't hear you.
Yeah. I don't mind expending one of my slots to cast it more quickly. Can I do that and then peek around the corner?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna do that, and I peek around the corner.
So you want to know what everyone is exuding?
Hacking.
I want to know. I want to know. I want to know what kind of magic is in that area and who it's emanating from.
Sure. Ella has conjuration, enchantment,
I knew she was a fake bitch.
necromancy, and transmutation.
Wow.
Damn. Okay.
Emilia is abjuration, conjuration, enchantment, evocation,
Oh my God.
illusion, and transmutation.
Oh my fuck. Okay.
Jander is a very, very strong abjuration, as well as enchantment, illusion, and transmutation.
Okay.
Casimir is abjuration, evocation, illusion, and necromancy. And Packus is abjuration, divination, enchantment, and necromancy.
And Peter Post is transmutation and illusion.
Can you tell if someone is like, if there's parts where these specific things are coming from, or can you just tell that that person has all of this in them?
If you're
on there.
closer, you might be able to zero in on a particular object, or it depends on what's giving the read. Like it could be an object, it could be an active spell of some kind.
Yeah,
which
something they
could be more
hold.
euphoric,
Mhm.
but
It could be
Sorry,
so many things.
Could you
yeah.
repeat one
Yeah,
more
no-
time? Packus did not have enchantment on him, correct?
Pakis did not. Yes, he did.
He did have enchantment on him. Actually, could you specify specifically who it was with enchantment?
Pakis, Jander, Amelia, and Ella.
Oh, almost everybody.
Everyone except Casimir.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And no one had really strong necromancy as of a soldier.
The strongest necromancy reads come from Casimir and Pakis.
Oh, does the Countess like overload the spell?
Oh, sorry, I'm excluding the Countess from this.
All the magic is on the Countess.
Okay, what do you guys think's going on here?
Well, it's quite suspicious. So I'm getting a lot of reads. It's quite suspicious, though, that some of them have enchantment magic, which typically means they might not be under their own free will. However, I can't distinguish whether or not it's from the person or something that they're holding.
Yeah.
You can't dispel any of it.
And it's no, I can't yet. And it's literally everyone emanating it except for Casimir, I believe.
Well,
Wow.
Considered stabbing everyone in the back.
So, can we do a like from that tattoo to the impression in the board? Do they look similar enough, or do they look like it could be a forgery?
Sorry, are you referring to the illusionary symbol in the tattoo?
Yeah.
They're very, very similar. They definitely take the same inspiration.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's kind of the difference between like someone writing and someone doing calligraphy. Like one's a little fancier version, but it's definitely the same thing.
Okay. And unless this magical ivy reached up and somewhere and put something inside, I don't think Ella did this on her own, and I don't know whether she is off enough to be the sole.
Minos is going to address the Countess, who is she's still at the table. I assume the Countess is.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're waiting on dessert, which is supposed to be brought to them.
Oh, good. No main course.
Oh, I assume that happened.
We already had that. Yeah.
That's right.
Countess, there is a kind of peculiar skeleton dude that's walking around the lands around here. Do you know who that is?
Uncle Skeleton? Yes, I'm familiar with the type.
Are you on good terms with this guy?
Well, I think that would be a stretch, but it's wise enough to keep to its devices and goals, and I keep to mine. Our paths don't truly cross very often.
All right, well, this guy's lying about knowing him, and Minos will point at the wood elf.
And he will look shocked, and he will say, I would never lie, Countess. How can you say such a thing?
And we all come back in with this.
Parfait!
Quietly, but and with tea.
So, sorry, side note, before I walk in with dessert, I guess, I never got a chance to do that religion check earlier because I know that Casimir would have had a pact of some sort, and I would have seen the marks on his arms. Can I make a check?
Yeah, you could do religion check.
Religion? Yeah.
To be clear, it's not like there's specific marks as in runes or anything. It's more like his skin is leprous. Like
maybe I'll plumb the depths of my knowledge to see if that's associated with anything.
Yeah.
Plumb the depths.
Apparently not.
You are
very shallow depths here.
Yeah, no. Okay, I'm gonna need that book on the Demonomicon later because I need to read up. Okay, sorry. So I walk in with parfait, I guess.
Yeah, so that guy's a liar. So
Minos, what is going on? What?
Oh, dessert.
Oh God.
And tea.
Sorry, how is Countess reacting? He was saying he would never. And how is the Countess reacting?
She's very curious. So she'll look at you with narrowed eyes. And what evidence do you have to support this accusation?
Minos,
Well,
you
I can
can't-
talk to the animals around here, and the animals in the forest said that they saw him talking with the bone guy. He had his leg.
His leg.
He had the bone guy's leg, yeah, so he clearly knows him. And then when I asked him about it, he said that he didn't know him, and I don't know why all the animals would lie. They have no reason to lie.
That's interesting because Packus told me that he doesn't often walk here, but he's given an expeditious entry into this place.
That is correct.
Then what would he be doing on the grounds?
That is a good question. It is not safe for someone to be wandering around, and it is certainly not safe to be interacting with Uncle Skeleton, though they are hunted sometimes by the reckless and ambitious because their bones make particularly powerful necromantic objects.
Oh, and he had his leg, so he probably used it to make a powerful necromantic object.
Sometimes, Minos, I'm surprised you get to where you get, but that's good.
The Countess will rise slowly from the table, and everyone at the table will vanish except for all of you and Packus.
Uh-oh.
And she will say, I think that we have reached our exciting conclusion to this evening.
Actually, I think Beatrice has a theory about everybody.
I mean, I'm most well known for my inclusivity, but you don't think that this gentleman was one to carve such a work of art on his own, but you do have one here with such skills. And neither of them have the ability to fix or obtain such rarities of soul gems. But
Minos is gonna get up and go to the desserts that they're holding and like grab like 4 or 5 of the like jars to start eating them.
But one rather stunning, charming, increasingly attractive male elf may have such abilities. And you would look for the consortium to be able to deliver something somewhere where only you would be able to get to.
It's true, but the consortium can be hired, and it is possible they were not aware of what they were transporting. Packus,
Can you bring Amelia back and we can ask her who hired her to bring that package? Is she gone? She behind one of the curtains again? Or
very well. And everyone will reappear at the table exactly as they had been before, as if time had rewound.
Oh. Do I still have my dessert though?
No.
Oh. So I get back up and go and grab the dessert again.
Stasis spells.
Can I just add a little tidbit of information here if we're gonna go all accusation on everybody? Everybody here, I did a little magical sleuthing, and everybody here emanates some wild enchantment, but one person, Casimir. And usually when they don't emanate enchantment magic, they're usually the puppet master, in my experience.
I mean, I don't have any experience with puppets. That's definitely Bay's specialty. But I also feel like these people are acting with very unique personalities that, unless they're like puppeteered randomly, but they don't seem empty or devoid of like being able to make choices themselves.
Can I do a knowledge an arcana check to determine if there's magic that allows someone to basically function normally with certain compulsions?
Yes, you can.
Like being charmed, you mean?
Basically, like, or more of like a geese or whatever.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
really fighting.
Oh,
really
I see.
Really fighting the urge to pull out her puppet as something.
So yes, you're familiar with a gash or whatever.
Yeah, however you say it.
Gaelic spell. A very, very high level spell, but it is possible.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna say that to Peter. Well, Peter, and then.
okay, I'm just pointing it out. Can I write on a piece of paper and be like, it's gonna be a note for Amelia because I don't want to ask it out loud. I'm just gonna ask her, like, write deliverer to deliverer. I know that you were the one that delivered the bird to the Countess. Who hired you to do that? I'm just gonna ask point blank and just slip the paper to her as subtly as I can, and my quill if she needs it.
She has a panicked look on her face, and when you look around the table, you realize they all do, and their bodies are completely rigid. And when you pass the note, at first it just sits in front of her, and then the Countess kind of arcs an eyebrow, and very mechanically and slowly, Amelia reaches out with her hand, kind of flops it on the paper and retracts it towards her very awkwardly. She reads it, and then she will pull out again awkwardly a quill and kind of write crudely on the paper, and then shove it back with the same sort of mechanical motion before resuming her previous pose like a statue. And the paper will read.
The Countess is moving normally, right?
Yes, as are all of you.
Oh, okay.
She's just
so she's like
controlling the
frozen them, I
suspects.
guess.
Yeah.
And that includes Casimir, yes?
Correct.
Okay.
It's hardest to tell with him because you can't see his face.
Right.
We haven't really changed that much, but presumably.
But we assume she's done this, not someone else.
So hopefully I messaged you, Jen.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't looking at my, oh, I see it, okay.
Yeah, cool.
You got mail.
Honestly, if she's got everyone frozen like this, I might try to just rifle through people's pockets.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry, there is no message, Tim.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah, it's down in DM to characters, Jen and Peter. If you scroll down a bit more.
Oh,
in
got it,
Discord.
got it.
Yeah.
Who do you want to start with there, Ironjaw?
The wood elf.
No, do the quiet guy.
Okay, so when you go to the wood elf, you lifting his hand, you see a ring on it that's very opulent. His cloak is very well worn and covered in, made and covered in runes. But what really catches your eye is a large pocket watch that is made of elaborate gears.
Very similar to the gears that were in the mechanical bird.
From your first glance, very, very similar. And it's a very unusual object to have a pocket watch. Like, it's not a common thing that people have. So it stands out for that reason, but also it's extremely elaborate in how the gears look. So that also.
Who had this pocket watch?
The
Pocket.
wood elf.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't have a picture of it, unfortunately. I've lost it, but that's what it is. A clockwork watch.
Marcus, I used to think very highly of you.
That short time that you knew him.
We go way back.
Scholar to scholar.
I'll see if I can lock eyes with Ironjaw and like dart my eyes over to Casimir, as if to.
But they're all frozen, right? They're all frozen. I could just, and then Minos will just like walk over and start rifling through Casimir's belongings.
Minos has absolutely zero chill.
Sorry, who's rifling who? Where are we at the?
I think we're just gonna go through all of them, but we don't. Minos is not making it like so subtle, I guess.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, Ironjaw is trying to be kind of like fairly subtle.
Grabbing them, turning them upside down, shaking them. No, I'm just kidding.
Also, sorry, the one last thing I should say about Bacchus is as you're rifling through, do you want to describe how you're rifling through his pocket?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so I am like patting him down kind of thing.
You feel something in his pocket.
Which pocket?
Front left pants.
I'll reach in. I'll just try to sleight of hand it out. Pluck it out.
Okay.
I already checked to make sure that the Countess can take souls back out of soul gems.
I was gonna say, you fall to the ground lifeless.
Yep.
And there's a glowing purple gem in the hand of your body.
Yep, there sure is.
Bacchus's eyes go wide, and then his face changes to a completely different face.
Uh-oh.
And he says, "Idiot! That wasn't for you!"
You sneaky,
I don't know
bitch.
if this is important, guys, but
can't say anything.
Pacchus was the one that hired Amelia. just adding that in there. Put that into your considerations as we were.
Okay, so
So-
I think it's Pacchus.
Can someone bind his? Someone bind him.
But Casimir had the gem.
Sorry, it wasn't Casimir who had the gem. It was.
Oh no, was it Jamie who rifled through his bag or something?
Sorry, Iron Jaw was going through Pacchus's bag, found the gem.
Okay. and
Yeah,
then
I didn't find
mine-
anything on Casimir yet.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
I had that crossed. Got
Sorry,
it.
I had to go back. Yeah, I forgot that was a rather key thing that he had there. It was the last on the list.
I was kind of expecting it.
Oh yes. Well, he is. I'm not sure if you continue to look through people or whether because your comrade just died. So like,
Well, like,
But it's kind of
I
hard to tell because it's like, are you? Now's not the time to go for a nap, Iron Jaw.
Oh, he powered down again. God damn it.
Oh no, this took a long time. Oliver, you have to be careful. The last time Iron Jaw powered down, we lost a wizard.
no, I have this weird feeling, this weird tingle down my spine. I don't understand that I'm in danger.
Somebody bind his arms.
How is the Countess reacting to all this reveal?
her face does that shift again, but this time it holds in the sort of grotesque version rather than the beautiful version. She slams her hands down on the table, and everyone once again disappears, but this time they're kind of like flung back, but before they hit the walls, they vanish. And except for Pacchus, he levitates up out of his seat
Uh-oh.
and forms sort of a cross, like a crucifix above the table. And her eyes narrow, and she says, "Very interesting, clever." And she pushes both of her hands apart, and you see a separation where a soul is pulled out of Pacchus, and you see a panicked wood elf, and then a hate-filled specter separated from him. She gestures and Pacchus vanishes, and the specter remains glaring at her.
What's going on? What's happening?
An infestation. A ghost possessed poor Pacchus.
Ghost.
I will.
Oh, then the dork might still be good.
Yes, just weak-willed, unfortunately for him.
Do we kill it?
What do we do with the ghost?
I think she's got this covered.
Oh, okay. Then I'm gonna go back to eating my dessert.
Normally, I would allow you the pleasure of taking care of this yourself, since you did all the hard work. But I have some questions that I will enjoy asking this particular specter. And the specter will vanish with a scream.
Oh,
At the same time, Ironjaw will reanimate, and the
Oh,
soul
good. that was fast.
will revert to no longer glowing with a pulsing purple light.
Thank you, Countess.
Actually, it is I who should thank you. I had no idea how corruptible my agents were. I will have to take more aggressive precautions. If a simple ghost can cause this much damage, I'd hate to think what a truly powerful adversary might be capable of. In any event, I believe I owe you some recompense. Zrovia is forever in your debt, and I may have to call upon you again at some point.
Please don't kill me this time, though, if you want our help.
Ugh, I barely killed you the first time.
Peter Post will look down at the ground and suddenly get really shy. He's like, "Countess, there's something I really want to ask you. I've been ever since You arrived at the church. I really wanted to know, can I have one of your delivery mail birds?
No.
What? You want a raven?
Yeah, to assist me in deliveries.
Very well. She will hold out a hand and the doors will open and a raven will fly in and perch on her finger. They will exchange something briefly in a sort of furtive conversation and then it will perch on your shoulder.
Well, what's his name?
Whatever you wish it to be. I did not name them, so you may name it however you see fit.
It's Peter.
Oh my god.
Not Amelia?
Thank you. I'm close to tears. Peter Post's close to tears. He's so happy. This is the best thing.
I missed what the bird's name was. What was the bird's name?
Peter.
Peter.
Oh, Peter. Wow.
While we're making light requests, and I do mean light here, I've noticed you had a couple of books in your collection, and I'm very interested in at least one or two of them. Maybe someone as powerful as you who could easily get their hands on another copy could part with one that they own. Mayhaps.
I will allow you access to my study whenever you are in the area.
In the area? You don't have like a transcribed copy of your Demonomicon, maybe? Or.
Unfortunately, books like that don't enjoy being reproduced. It is not a simple matter. However, I will give you 1,000 gold pieces for escorting the caravan.
Wow.
Split,
That's a lot of money.
As well as this amulet that has been in our family for many years. I trust it will serve you well.
Can I keep the coat?
Very generous.
Of course. I have no use for it. I'm a widow, after all.
I do have a request as well, Countess.
Proceed.
Could I have some more dessert, please?
You may have all the dessert. You can fill your ample stomach.
Oh, yes. Yes, I want all of it. I'm going to carry it with me.
Manos, would you
Yes.
mind, maybe in our after time or in between time, asking my bird what his real name is? I named him Peter probably too quickly. I want to know what his actual name is.
Oh, I could do that right now. I have the spell. And so I cast the spell and I asked the bird, "Oh, hello, little bird. What is your name?"
Am I supposed to answer that?
Yeah. Oh, do I have to? Okay.
Well, it's up to you.
Okay, so you don't have a name for it. That's okay.
To be determined.
Okay, so I'll get the name at that point.
Render, Terror of the Skies.
What was it?
Flesh Render, Terror of the Skies.
Oh, his name is Flesh Render Terror of the Skies. It's a beautiful name.
He does look like a terror of the skies. Oh.
My little Flesh Render.
I'm gonna call him Terry.
It's time for a TR.
Oh no. Hashtag triggered. No.
No, that was Teresa.
Oh, right. You couldn't
I thought that
remember
was
her name.
Tiffany.
Yeah.
Beatrice is gonna ask if there was a couple things that caught our eye when we were in your study. I have a fondness for small figurines, and one of them caught my eye. Would I be able to? Would you be willing to part with that?
Can we loot your house, please?
He's let us rifle through your drawers.
I think I know the figurine you mean. And she will open her hands and it will appear. It's the figurine of the raven. She'll close her hand and it will reappear in yours. And she will
Sick.
say, to activate it, you have to say the following words. That's so raven.
Oh my god.
I see why it's only had some use.
And it will transform the figurine into a war raven mount.
Whoa.
Which is
Cool.
also why there was the skylight. So that she
Ah, it all
Oh.
makes sense now.
I see she's willing to part with literally everything
Except
but her
the bee.
books.
Those are
Should've-
good books.
Should have asked for better things. More reasonable things.
You
Well,
may
thank you,
return the
Countess.
castle for as long as you need, and then continue on your way. I'm sure there are many who are in need of your talents, and I have plans that I need to set in motion.
Thank you so much, Countess. I'm happy that you are not going to have your soul sucked into a gem.
It
As am
was most
I.
unpleasant.
As am I.
Hey, Ironjaw, you have a soul.
Apparently.
Confirmed.
Yeah, this is news.
We learned something
He
today.
is
This
a
has
real
been a
boy.
very fruitful mission. We've learned so much.
All right, so I'm just going to end the stream right now for YouTube, and then we'll come back and discuss the adventure. So YouTube viewers, that's the end of part 3 of the cryptic case of the Countess's curse. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back in 2 weeks with another DM and another adventure.
Beatrice is definitely getting that number.